Welcome to another episode of the Forgotten Athlete Podcast with your host Joseph. Thanks for tuning. As always, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're on my YouTube page, Forgotten Athlete Podcast is the YouTube page. I'll drop a link on all my social media sites, as well as if you follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Appreciate the love. Yeah, I mean, so much to go over. I've been out just because I've been doing a lot of stuff over the past 2 weekends. Last weekend, um, went to Austin for a festival that was really cool with podcasters, script writers, all that stuff, and that was fun. Got to meet Rose, Thug Rose in the UFC champion, former champion. She was cool. Got to talk to her. That was cool. Um, that was kind of the highlight of my week, highlight of my month of October. We're in November now, and a lot has gone on over the past couple of weeks, and a lot I want to talk about. So, without further ado, kind of be different than how I usually do the podcast for this middle of the week. Just because there's just, I mean, when we have a full straight slate like what we've had with the Frank Wright firing, Jeff Saturday getting hired, Kyrie Irving, situation, Jaylen Brown coming out speaking on his behalf as the VP of the NBA PA, the Lakers turmoil, the Raiders turmoil, so much to talk about. And I want to make sure I give all of them. Sorry, I had to fix my camera. I want to make sure I give all of them, the equal amount of support. Uh, that way, everybody understands where I'm coming from. So, without further ado, I mean, where should we start? Like let's be serious about this, right? And I guess we can start on the gridiron, and kind of work our way onto the basketball court. And first off, just before we get into the Jeff Saturday, I wanted to talk about my predictions for the my preseason predictions. Vikings, I said, would be the Super Bowl representatives from the NFC. Chargers would be the AFC. Right now, as it stands, Vikings are the second best team in the NFL. Chargers is about a top 10 team in the NFL right now, sitting at 5-3. I'm still concerned about the play calling, still concerned about the coaching, but they have a game against the Chiefs this week where I think that game will kind of, determine where their season goes. Right, if they lose that game, they're probably not going to make playoffs, or if they do make playoffs, they're not going to go anywhere because that's kind of where you measure your team, right? When you play the Chiefs, you measure your team as like you measure your success rate, right? And when I was watching the Titans game yesterday, or I guess Sunday, you just got that from that, right? Where the Chiefs were, and I even tweeted, I was like, I don't think the Chiefs can compete physical with how physical the Titans are for 60 minutes. I just didn't see it happening. And when the fourth quarter, that final, well, I guess one of the final drives of Patrick Mahomes of the game was he used his legs, he used his arm strength, he used everything he could to kind of will his way to victory and will his way to get into overtime. And it was just one of those. It was one of those moments that like is a career defining moment, prime time game against the best team in the AFC. You're battling for a number one record in the AFC, number one seed, top of your divisions, going up against a quarterback who isn't where he needs to be, right? And he's not where he's going to end up at, right? And going against one of the greatest coaches of all time. I'm sorry, greatest young coaches of all time with Ron Rivera. I mean, doing what he's doing with the roster he has, it's something that's um, hasn't not been done in a while, from my experience. Obviously, he hasn't made it to the Super Bowl, hasn't made it to the AFC Championship, but he's gotten a number one seed. He's won divisions. He's kicked people's butts week in and week out with limited talent on his team. They don't have a receiver that has over 300 receiving yards. It's just something that's remarkable. Derrick Henry, obviously, but their defense just plays hard every single game. And you saw it this weekend, and with that being said, the teams that I have, right, with the Chargers, and I'll go back to the Chargers for a second, they just don't have that it factor. And yeah, they're struggling with a lot of injuries, but Herbert is just, he's that guy. I like him a lot, but he just doesn't have that it factor to kind of beat the elite teams. And we'll see if he wins this week. They made it to a primetime game against the Chiefs. We'll see how that goes, but you know, with things the way that they are right now, I don't see the Chargers even competing in this game. I just don't. I saw the Titans competing against the Chiefs. I just did because of the coaching. I believe coaching matters more than players. When you get to the NFL, everybody can play, right? When it's like when you get to college, everybody's smart in college, all right. No matter if you got the 3.0, 2.0, or 4.0, everyone at the end of the day is on that campus for a reason because they're smart, right? And when you have talent matched up with horrible coaching, horrible leadership, then you get mixed results, and that's what happens. That's what's happening with the Raiders, and I'll talk about that later. And that's what's happening right now with the Chargers, right? And I still believe that they have the opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl, just because I'm like, if the Bengals can make it to the Super Bowl, then the Chargers can, just because they're way talented, they have way more talent than that team. But I will say I'm scared. Vikings, I'm not. I didn't think that they were going to lose this week. Even though it was kind of it was like kind of a tearjerker. But it was a great game. Kirk Cousins again showed up when it mattered, and he led his team to victory. I mean, I don't know how many fourth quarter comebacks he has this season, but I want to say it's about 4. And I could be wrong, but the ones I can think of the top of my head are the Lions, that past game we just watched, and then um, there was another game, the Bears game. I think he came back in the fourth after losing the lead. So he has a lot of fourth quarter comebacks this season. Whether they're called fourth quarter comebacks, I don't know. But anyways, I just think that this Vikings team still has the DNA to win. And as we go on to the next topic with the Raiders being what I want to talk about next, kind of figure out like how my preseason odds look, right? And I said that Hurts would be in the MVP conversation. I said that he's a great choice with 40-1 odds, and he has the second best odds to win MVPs right now, on all sites that I can see. So I'm super jacked up about that. But what I'm not super jacked up about is the Raiders' turmoil and how they are. I said a little bit on my Instagram page, but it's just a lot of blame going around, and that's what losing does. Losing is a toxic trait where it feeds off of blame, it feeds off of negativity, it feeds off of teammates going at each other, it teams off of players blaming coaches shying it away and saying he's right. This is all stuff that losing does. And when you're the talent that the Raiders have, and you're sitting at 2-7, and you just don't know that if they're gonna win next week, it sucks. And then they dropped Abrams, which is the end of their disastrous draft in 2019, 2018, one of those 2 years. And then with the Jeff Saturday news being what it is, not knowing if they're gonna win next week is still a questionable. Vegas odds going from 5 to 6. It's just not even Vegas believes in you. Not even your own city believes in you. Give me 1 second while I drink some more. But yeah, man, I just don't understand how we are where we are at right now with the Raiders. Said a little bit about it on my Instagram page, but there's a lot of blame to go around. There just is. When you're 2-7 with the roster that they have, there's a huge amount of blame. And for me, I look at it from a film standpoint, but I also look at it from just look at the stats. Like the Raiders, they don't get sacks, they don't get pressure, they don't get rush, unless it's coming from um Mason Crosby, or sorry, Max Crosby, we're not getting any type of pressure. Chandler Jones, he has the least amount of pressures on this roster, and that's saying something when you pay someone the amount of money to pay them $15+ million a year, and you aren't getting what you signed up for, right? And I was skeptical of this on the offseason just because after his 5 sack game against the Cardinals, I'm sorry, against the Titans week 1, he kind of just like tiered, over the next 16 games, Chandler Jones did. And I was just really wasn't impressed in what he did. But he's a Patriot guy. Ziegler knows him. McDaniels knows him. And that's what they're building there in Las Vegas. And it's one of those things where you just got to understand, like, hey, like, either he has it or he doesn't, and he does not have it. He's not the guy that he was when he was with you guys in New England. He's not the guy he was when he was in Arizona. He just isn't the same person that he is. That these Raider guys, or sorry, that these Patriot guys think he is, and it's one of those things where you have to like observe this, right? You have to understand that, like, hey, he's not the guy that we think he is. Let's work on moving things around, right? Let's fill him in. Let's not play him every single down. Let's play him on key third down conversions. See if that works. Because listen, when you aren't winning, right, you might as well just try different stuff to see if it works. And that's where I think the creativity from McDaniels is kind of lacking, right? It's just not the same. It just isn't, and it's one of those things where you don't know what's gonna happen, right? After the season, off season, what's gonna go wrong? Derek Carr, is he gonna stay? Devontae Adams, is he gonna stay? Obviously so, because of the contract, but these are things that are going through Raiders' minds. Do you draft a quarterback in the first round? If you continue to lose like this, are you going to draft a quarterback in the first round? With a top 15, top 10 pick, are you going to do that? I mean, there's going to be quarterbacks available in this draft specifically, in 2023 draft. But if you do this, what does that mean for your roster, right? And it's just one of those things where you play a Colts team. They just fired their coach. They hired a former player as their coach, who was I don't know what he was, a consultant for them. And you got to win this game. You just got to. It's just one of those things where you have to win. This is a guaranteed win. And if you don't win this game, what does that mean for you and your, like, McDaniels? Like Mark Davis, like, you got to really think to yourself. I know you won the Las Vegas Aces championship this season with the WNBA, but you got to think, like, okay, like, we can't beat a team that has a first time play caller and then also a first time head coach who has never coached a game in his life as far as the NFL, who has never been a part of a coaching staff in the NFL, whose only experience comes from coaching in a high school where he went like 3-6 or 3-7, something like that. Right, you cannot lose this game. And Derek Carr, he has to be the guy that says that in the locker room. Like, he has to be that catalyst in the locker room to kind of build his team together and get them guys riled up to play. Right now, everything's going against him. You're cutting players. You're wishing that trade deadline was a lot longer than before. Everything right now is going against what you truly what you want, right? As a Raider fan, everything is going your way, and this is a game where it's scaling to be that the Raiders lose this game, and it's going to be because of the lack of coaching, and you're going to get out coached by a first year intern, and that just can't be the case. It just can't. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about Jeff Saturday. I don't really care about the situation to speak on it an extreme, but I just don't believe that this is a time where the NFL needs the Raiders to lose this game. Raiders can't lose this game. This is a can't lose game. Like, if you lose this game, McDaniels will not be the Raider coach in Week 11. He just won't. Like, I just don't see it happening. And this is a game where, I don't know, Raider Nation, maybe you can say, maybe you can tell me, right? But expectations wise, this is a game where you want to win this game by double digit points, where you don't even want it to be close, where you don't even want Sam Ellinger to complete 15 passes, where you don't want him to get over 100 plus yards. You don't want him to get a touchdown. You want to shut this team out, and you want to create some type of momentum leading towards the next week and the next week and the next week. Um, at least that's where my focus is at, right? And this is something that, maybe we'll see, maybe we won't, right? And I mean, Raider Nation, we've been through a lot. I've been a Raider fan since I saw a tweet like, when did you become a Raider fan? And I've been a Raider fan since the Tuck Rule. That's one of my first remembrance of being a Raider fan, is that game. And the game before that, the season before that, as well. So like, I mean, I remember going to Raider games as a kid. I remember wearing the Raider jackets, the Star jackets. I remember wearing the Raider jerseys, the C Wood jerseys, the Tim Brown jerseys, uh, all those guys that are prominent for the Raiders. And this is just one of those things where we just gotta hope that we win this game, because if we don't, this is gonna be the end of a lot of careers. Um, Next topic, NBA. Let's go to the NBA. I don't have anything else to talk about the NFL wise. Maybe I will later on, but I'm pretty sure NBA, man. NBA, I said it earlier in the season. NBA is a soap opera. Like it's a soap opera. It's literally One Life to Live on a repeat, and it's getting to the point where owners are getting involved in players. I just don't know where to start with the NBA. And there's great players in the NBA. Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Jason Tatum. So many great talents in the NBA. And Steph Curry, LeBron James, who is on his downhill. But there's so much talent in the NBA right now, and we get it. We get overcome. That talent gets overcame by just news after news after news after news after news after news of players, coaches being involved in misconduct, players, personal beliefs getting ahead of the sport. Like, if your job as an NBA reporter is to report on the NBA team, like the Brooklyn Nets, right? For example, just because that's the team we're talking about, like, do your job. Like, nobody needs to know about what Kyrie Irving tweeted 3 days ago. Like, it just it doesn't matter. Like, nobody cares. And for a tweet to represent what a player believes is just it invades someone's privacy. Like, it just does. Like, your beliefs are your beliefs, right? Where I could believe something that's extreme, right? I could believe that every black person deserves reparation, and I believe that. That's an extreme belief, though. But and that could be seen as anti, America, or anti something else, right? And that's not really where I'm going with this conversation. But it's just something that I wanted to point out as a kind of an outlook to kind of look at the situation where we're questioning someone's beliefs based on a post that they shared. And then when he's asked about it, he doesn't say he doesn't say he hates Jews. He doesn't say he's anti-Semitic. He doesn't say anything along the lines that he is. And he gets marked with this stamp. Who and the person that marks the stamp is the owner. The owner of the team, Joe Tsai. I think that's his name. The Alibaba owner. He marks the stamp that Kyrie Irving is this and that. And if I'm Kyrie Irving, I'm not playing another minute for this guy. Like, I forfeit my salary. I just would. And like, moving forward, like, this is not a team where I want to play with. Like, I just wouldn't. If my owner thinks I'm anti-Semitic, like, all right, I'll go somewhere else. Like, you think I'm like you? This is what you think my character is? Like, you're questioning his character at this point. And I get it where you're coming from, right? Where the owner's coming from. He wants the NBA player to represent his team to the best satisfaction. But at the end of the day, man, like, you are involved in some shady crap over in China, and you are a part of a genocide. You are a part of of a economy where it kind of where it not no not kind of it shuns upon the poor. It discriminates against a lot of beliefs that American beliefs aren't, and it just does something where it's not equivalent, right? And you're a benefactor of this state, of this country, of this economy, and I don't think that you having that, right, gives you the right to kind of judge Kyrie Irving on what he believes or what he tweets out. And it's just one of those things where we just got to be mindful of what we're talking about, and we got to be mindful of how we want to talk about basketball, right? How we want basketball to be represented. And right now, you ask anybody, you just ask any random person, hey, do you watch the NBA? Some of them will say no, but most will say, some of them will say yes, but most will say no. And it's because of how much they involve politics into the NBA. I get it. Politics is a topic where things need to be talked about, right? Discriminations need to be talked about. Yeah, I'm not saying that that's not where basketball, ends. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is though that what we're doing as media people, right? People in the media. I'm part of the new media. I would hope, Draymond Green, if you want to be part of the new media, thank you, man. But what the media is doing right now is taking people's personal lives and asking it to them at the podium during questions. And if I'm a player, I'm just not answering it. Like, I'm not entertaining it. And Kyrie Irving did that same exact thing. And, he got shunned for it. He got labeled an anti-Semitic person. And it's just one of those things where obviously he's not. And there's like 6 things where Joe Tsai wants him to do. Jaylen Brown says that he's not doing them. Like Adam Silver, and I guess Kyrie had a good meeting today. So things are looking up, but it's just one of those things where we got to really think. Like, what do we want from this? Like, what do we want from this situation? And that's where I laid at. And I'm done with the topic. Next is my Lakers, and this is going to be a rant. We are sitting at and I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm going to pull up what our record is just because like, but right now, as it sits, Lakers record, and we just lost to the Jazz last night. I think we're 2-8. Yeah, we're 2-8. So we started off 2-8 for our first 10 games. And these are one of those things where you just gotta think, like, where do we want to go? Where do we want to be in 2024? Forget 2023, because we know where we're gonna be at. We're gonna be a bottom 10 team. I'm just being factual. Where do you want to be at in 2024? And I am not going to lie to people. I really do believe that if you trade AD and you trade LeBron for some key guys, I'm sorry, not key guys, but for some key draft picks, you could build a team around Westbrook. Like, you just could. Like, I don't think Westbrook is out of his prime as much as AD and LeBron are out of their prime. I just don't. Based on what I've seen from his bench production, based on what I've seen from his style of play, his effort level, his will to win. I'm sorry, will to want to win, will to want to get other players involved, celebrating other players' wins. Like, I really believe that Russell Westbrook could be, a building block for us. I just do, and I would not have said this last year. I just wouldn't, because he hadn't shown that he was willing to do what it took to win. But LeBron and AD, they're, on the other hand, they don't do what it takes to win. They've regressed as players. They've regressed as leaders. They haven't been the same at all. And when it comes to wanting to put the best product on the floor, those lineups with LeBron and those lineups with AD, they aren't as productive as they once been. They haven't been productive in over 2 years, and I've been trying to get rid of them for the past 2 seasons. If you listen to my podcast, you should know by now I've been trying to get rid of LeBron and AD over the past 2 years since we won a bubble championship. but the Lakers just don't listen to me. I need more listeners. All right. If you want LeBron and AD to get off of our team, off of the Lakers, just post me. All right. Post me on Twitter. Drop a link to your friend. Drop a link to your mom, whatever, your dad, your uncle, your sister, your brother. Just share. All right. Because right now, here as it stands, nobody's listening to anything I got to say right now in terms of the Lakers organization. Shout out to the fans that do. Shout out to the people that do. Shout out to the fans of the show. I appreciate y'all. But at the end of the day, Rob Pelinka needs to be held accountable. He's gotten rid of a lot of talent. He's made a lot of dumb moves. Getting rid of Julius Randle without trading him was a dumb move. Getting rid of Jordan Clarkson, another dumb move. Getting rid of Brandon Ingram, a dumb move. And I said it was a dumb move when it happened. I don't care if he won a championship. We sacrificed literally our future for Anthony Davis, and we have nothing to show for it except the bubble championship. And it just gets to the point where we're just like, where do we go from now? Where do we go from here? All right, where are we headed towards next? And as a Laker fan, I'm with Darvin Ham. I'm on Darvin Ham's side because he says we got to put in what we put out. We get what we get at, right? And we got to stop relying on guys, right? We got to stop relying on like our front office to make moves in order for us to improve the team. No, we have what we have. Now let's work on it. And if we don't want to work on it, AD, you don't want to be here, please ask for a trade, AD. Anthony Davis, I'm looking at you. Please look at me, man, when I say this. Ask for a trade if you want to be out. Just do it, because there's no point in you being here. You putting up 20 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, 1 block a game, giving up 30 points a game to the other team. There's no point. And I understand that you're not a rim protector. You're not a 5. And we're playing me out of 5. And, a lot of the times you're playing a lot of help. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you're getting paid to do. And you're getting paid $40+ million a year. And you got to play like it. You just got to. And then LeBron James. I don't know, man. Like, you want to play when your son you want to play when your son comes in the NBA. I don't even know if you can play a full season. And we just gave you $40 million over the next 2 seasons. And it's just something that, like, I think this is worse than Kobe. Because at least with Kobe, we knew we were going to be trash. And we still had our draft picks. Now, we got, it's frustrating, man. And, I'm not going to go into the deeper just because for time. But I've been talking for 30 minutes now, and I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing about my Lakers. But with that being said, I'll be back. Locks of the Weeks will be back. And I'm going to tally up where I'm at right now compared to for Sundays, just because I haven't done that. I know that. So I'll tally it up, see where I'm at. But thank you, as always, for listening. Thank you for sharing. And I will see you guys next time.